Hey guys, it's Crystal, your mortgage girl with Mortgage Minute. We're doing a podcast with Traci Schluer today. We've planned it for quite some time, but we're on here now. We're super excited. Episode 1, and we're here to talk to you about mortgage protection and the difference of mortgage protection, mortgage insurance, homeowners insurance. Some home buyers feel like maybe they're the same thing. So we want to bring this education to you so you guys can become better home buyers, home shoppers. And so let's hear it from Miss Traci. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. So, okay, we'll dive right in into this mortgage protection question that I get a lot, especially from mortgage brokers. They kind of question it, and I appreciate everybody that's putting them in their little packets for their closing packets. For their clients. The mortgage protection is totally different than mortgage insurance. Mortgage insurance is something that you're required to have anytime you have a mortgage loan. Mm-hmm. And that actually helps protect the bank from you defaulting on your mortgage. So if you weren't able to pay your payments or anything like that, they're insured to have that taken care of. That's why you have to pay for that. For mortgage protection is basically just like life insurance. It is a protection for you as the home buyer. So regardless if you move to another home or you stay in the home that you got the mortgage with for 30 years, you can keep that mortgage protection in place. It's not actually attached to the home. It's attached to you as the home buyer. This actually protects for, let's say that you got a critical illness, a chronic illness, or a terminal illness. Your mortgage protection insurance will help you pay the mortgage for the life of your loan. It all depends on how you set it up. You can set it up for getting monthly payments, just like you make monthly payments for the mortgage. You can grab a lump sum out of that. There are qualifications that need to happen in order for you to actually draw from this account. But it's very simple for me to explain it, and everybody has different wants and needs with their policies. So it does differentiate between each client that I sit with. But yeah, I want to make it known that the mortgage protection is to protect you as the home buyer. And it's something that I recommend getting at the start of your loan. Because, I've had a couple clients actually this past year. I've been doing this for 3 years now, that have contacted me 6 months later and 8 months later for the mortgage insurance. They wish they would have got it when they first took the mortgage out, because one of them just got diagnosed with terminal cancer.
Oh, wow.
And the other one just got diagnosed with some heart conditions. If they would have taken the mortgage protection out at the beginning of the loan, they wouldn't have had those diagnoses yet. So it's easy to get, the mortgage protection when you're, don't have a lot of illnesses or things like that. It can still be done if you do have a chronic illness or even terminal illnesses. It just does cost a little bit extra. But I do recommend getting this insurance in place as soon as you take your mortgage out. And I tell everyone, I can come to you, you can come to me, we can go over a Zoom, we can meet somewhere, just whatever's comfortable for you. And even if it's something that you just want to know about and know for your situation, what this might cost and what it entails to you personally, I'm able to come and educate you on that as well.
Awesome. So this is just for home buyers. This isn't for anybody renting, right?
Correct.
Okay, because you never know. Sometimes people still have those questions And I do have more of these that we put in some closing gift little bags, or like I had gotten a little basket. And then we also put Traci's business card in there, so you guys can have that right away. So I'm just going to kind of look at this brochure and see if maybe there's any questions that stick out to me that maybe other, people would ask. So like you mentioned, the person or your client that came to you after the unfortunate news of the health and then the heart disease, does that matter? Like, what if something happened and they had these new diagnoses? Do they still get covered?
So depending, everybody's situation is different. So we do have to get you qualified, but I did get both of those parties qualified. It just cost a little bit more than what it would have cost had they not had that diagnosis in the beginning. Okay. So it is definitely doable. But if you are pretty healthy, and even if you're 30, 40, 50 years old, definitely grab this and get it to help you. Because these are called living benefits, and should anything go wrong within the realm of the living benefits, you're able to take 75 to 95% of your face amount out of that policy to live on to help you live.
Mm-hmm. How about if people are diagnosed after the fact?
So that actually is a good question. If you get the policy, let's say you got the policy today, and then 2 weeks later you're diagnosed with some terminal illness, that's not going to increase your rate. At anything, your rate is going to stay level based on how you were at the time that we signed the policy.
Okay. All right. That's good news to hear.
Yeah.
Let's see here. What if I change mortgage lenders?
So if you change mortgage lenders, again, this is called mortgage protection, but it is a form of life insurance. So it belongs to you as the homeowner, as the individual. It will go with you forever, wherever you go. And let's say you purchase a home, you sold this home, you purchase another one, and it may be $100,000 more, on that mortgage because you wanted to get a nicer home. You can always call in and get the amount changed if you need to. So that's not a problem either.
Okay. And then what happens if, something came about and somebody had to cancel this extra protection?
So if you cancel the protection, and again, it depends on each policy is going to be different and based on the individual's needs and underwriting. But typically, if you cancel, then I wouldn't recommend canceling because you're paying into something that is tax-free. So when you pull out the funds to help you, it's all tax-free. But if you do cancel the policy, you're able to cancel anytime you wish. But you will lose the money that you did put into it.
Okay. That was my other question. Yeah. And then here's a good question. How do I know that a claim will not be rejected after my illness or death?
Underwriting goes through the claims thoroughly. And your claim, whatever your policy is at the time that we sign that policy, that is exactly what will happen upon the time of death. Whoever your beneficiary is, whatever amount is your face amount, that is your amount, period. Once you sign that dotted line, that is yours. And I'm sorry, what was the other one? If rejected up. So the illnesses, again, I will go over all the illnesses with each client and let you know what those consist of. It's a pretty long list. So it pretty much covers a lot of the illnesses and terminal illnesses. So once you sign that policy and you start paying your premiums, it doesn't matter. You're going to be covered for that. It's locked in. Underwriting The only way they can deny that is if it's a certain condition that's not listed in the policy.
Okay. And so, would you suggest that they get something particular from their like primary care doctor, or how do they make sure that nothing else comes about?
So once the policy is written, a lot of times if it's under a certain amount of money for the face amount, there's no medical testing, no no blood draws, no urine samples, no doctor visits required. But going above, usually anything above 250,000, with certain carriers require a medical visit or blood draw, and typically those physicians will come to your house and do that for you, so you don't have to travel.
Oh, wow.
But they're really good with making it easy for you as the policyholder to get things done that need to be done. But typically anything less than 250,000, you don't need a medical review.
Okay.
It does have to go under underwriting. Most everything will go under underwriting. And if there's anything that's needed, the underwriter will contact me, and then I will get with the insurer and or the policyholder, and we will go over that individually and figure it out. But typically, they'll ask you for your physician's address and phone number, and if they see that they need to contact them, then they will. But a lot of anything under 250,000, I haven't seen anybody reach out to the physicians.
Okay. Let's see. What other questions do I have?
Well, I wanted to add that this isn't a credit check at all. So nobody's going to have to get a credit check. The only thing that we run is called an MIB, and that is your pharmaceutical background. So any prescriptions that you might have gotten your whole life is in this MIB place, and they run your MIB just to make sure you're not addicted to any of these certain medications that some people will play the system, and unfortunately they do. They play the system, and a lot of fraud cases come up because of certain things that happen. So we have to take control of that. So they do run the MIB background and check your pharmaceutical. If they see anything out of realm or they'll question, and I can get
and that's good, because if there's something on there, then maybe they'll ask, and maybe that home buyer, maybe they forgot or something. Maybe they forgot, oh yeah, I take Synthroid because I have thyroid, or that's a big one. But if it's something, little story, when I was pregnant with my second pregnancy, the doctor calls in prenatals, or they tell you to get prenatals over the counter. And so I went to go pick up my prenatals. There was this specific one because I was extremely nauseous, like the whole entire pregnancy. And so they called in these specific prenatals. And so when I pulled out, they had called in, I want to say it was atenolol or lisinopril. I think it was something to do with blood pressure. I think it was lisinopril. And so, because I have also a healthcare degree in science, I looked at the bag and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I was just about to take a blood pressure medicine. And I remember like just feeling, nervous. So what if something happened where, because people make mistakes, pharmacies make mistakes. What if there was like a mistake made on a prescription that was given to you? You're being asked for it on your end by the underwriter, and actually was a mistake. How can you prove that?
That's a good question. What will happen is the underwriter can get the pharmacy name and number to where that prescription was, and they can call in and confirm that. They will ask the client as well, so the client is able to give a statement regarding that information as well. And then usually the pharmacist will go in and make a note and send it to them. So it's very easy how they communicate. And it's pretty quick.
So what's kind of crazy is that, almost a year ago in July, I had this myocardial infarction, and I never had anything wrong with blood pressure. I still don't really have anything wrong with blood pressure, but I do take it as like a preventative.
Mm-hmm.
So in my scenario, or in my case, they would see that I take it now, but really I wasn't, it was a mistake before. I really wasn't taking it before. So I had questioned that, which I'm pretty curious to know if you ever run into a funny situation like that, let me know. But this was very interesting to me, when you reached out to me, and we closed with the same realtor, Kayla McDonald, whoop whoop, shout out to her because she's amazing.
Yeah.
I thank her for closing with you because that's how I met you. And then we met at Starkey Market, which is a nice little place. And then we got to know each other. And it was really interesting to know this because as a mortgage lender, our companies do offer this, but it's one of those things where after you close, you get these letters. I wonder if I have one. You get these letters that are in like pink envelopes and yellow envelopes, and it says urgent, open immediately, and then it talks about mortgage protection. Yeah. So I know that these mortgage companies could provide it, but what's different is that these mortgage companies, they also get bought out. So you might have multiple servicers, right? So when I purchased my first home, I had like probably 3 or 4, Yeah. So I don't know how that would work. I'll dig into it, but especially someone like yourself who's local, who you have that one-on-one, you can ask questions, you have me to introduce, new buyers to. It's very interesting. And when I had that, I'm kind of venturing away. So I'm going to kind of get back to where I was. But so almost a year ago when I was in the hospital, I thought, I have health insurance through my employer. And this was kind of something that I was really interested in knowing about. Right? So if this mortgage protection, is it 100% life insurance or
Yes.
is it similar?
It is 100% life insurance. And also just going back really quick with your mortgage protection like that the mortgage brokers can offer, I'm not sure if theirs include living benefits. Most of them don't. So if that's something you want to let me know, that's fine. But most of them offer it at a very cheap rate. And it's usually because it doesn't cover the living benefits.
Okay. What if somebody has life insurance through their employer versus having life insurance or mortgage protection through you? What's the difference?
So employer life insurance is a group policy, which means that cost of whatever you're paying, or even if it's just your employer paying, can go up and down at any time, the rates. Okay. Also, they don't have living benefits. And also, if you were to, let's say that you did get a terminal illness and you had to take FMLA, and your employer allows 12 weeks of FMLA. After that, you don't have anything.
Right.
Some offer 24 weeks. But let's just say you took the 12 weeks and you're not any better. You're still going through treatment. It's just getting worse. They are able to terminate you after the 12 weeks. Once you're terminated, or once you decide to quit the company, that group life insurance does not go with you. So it's technically not your policy. It is just a policy that they're placing an umbrella over top of you while you are employed with them.
Gotcha.
And a lot of times it's a small amount. It's not very much. I always tell everyone, if it's free, take it just because it's there for you and it's free. Don't pay into that though. And always make sure you have your own policy.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I'm kind of looking at your brochure and
yeah.
So who benefits if I become seriously ill or pass away?
So if you pass away, the beneficiary that is assigned by you will receive your face amount.
Okay.
If you are terminally ill or any chronic illness or critical illnesses that are listed within that policy, you can withdraw certain amount of funds. Each policy, like I said, is different. It can be 75% to 95% of the face amount that you can withdraw tax-free to help you live and pay bills or whatever you need to do with it. It's not something that you withdraw and you're going to be told what to pay with that. It goes directly to you. The funds are dispersed however you want them to be dispersed.
Gotcha.
And wherever you want them to be dispersed. So that it's your money and it's tax-free. And that's the living benefits is so important. And I try to stress that with anyone that has life insurance currently. If you don't have the living benefits with your life insurance policy, you definitely need to call me and let's look at a policy for you.
Absolutely.
and see, because why not have a policy that can work for you while you're living as well?
Right. Yeah, and I think there's just so many people out there that just aren't educated on it. So that's why we wanted to definitely get this podcast going and, get more people to view it. And, we're hoping that it's a little less than 30 minutes so they get to, hear about this protection that I think everybody should learn about. Is there a certain formula or how do they get the certain amount that you're do you have to get approved or?
So what we do is I take some information from you. You do have to get approved for the policy, but again, it's not like a credit check approval.
Right.
It's based on your like any illnesses that you might have, prescriptions you're taking, your age. All three of those are usually the factors that set your premium up for you.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's the other thing, when I talked to you personally about it and we kind of went over, this like minor heart attack that I had, which is still, it's so crazy to still like say that I had that at the age of 32. But, I just want to express to people that you are still able to assist me and not deny it. So if somebody out there is afraid that, oh, well, I have thyroid or I have high blood pressure or I've had a heart attack or, it doesn't matter,
Right.
not asking is worse than anything, ask and let's see if Traci can get you this protection. I'm sure like me, I have an underwriting help desk. I can ask questions about, I get really, really just questions that I never would not think about. Like I just had a bizarre question yesterday and I'm like, you know what? I've never thought about that. So I'm sure you have an underwriting, desk where you can ask, certain scenarios or questions too. I truly appreciate you being available today. And I'm super excited that we were able to get on here. It's okay if this, if this episode isn't perfect. We're not perfect. But just getting the news out there to these home buyers is amazing. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
I thank you so much for having me. And also, we just joined the Chamber of Commerce here in Safety Harbor. So if anybody is wondering if, there's a lot of fraud license insurance, or not, like they say they're licensed, but they're not. But you can check us out. We're a legit company on the Safety Harbor Commerce. So
okay. All right. Awesome.
That's good to know.
That is awesome. So you're with the Experior Financial Group.
Yes.
Awesome. And again, Traci's information is at the bottom, 614-296-5255. Of course, you have me, your mortgage girl, if you have any questions. Thank you so much. But
thank you, Crystal. I appreciate it.
It was a pleasure.